Hey guys, my name is Justin and welcome to Hillsborough, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do too, make sure to subscribe. Is that good? Do I sound Australian? I've been practicing. Alright, so, okay, I'm going back to like my normal boring American accent. So for today's video, I thought it would be really fun to take another look at kind of the worst bag shapes. I just wanted to say a disclaimer, like, if you love any of these bags, if you have any of these bags or want any of these bags, I'm just some guy. If you love it, then it's made for you. If you think like, oh, who's this dude trying to tell me like what to do? I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to, you know, share an opinion and give a little bit more perspective to maybe help you decide if this bag is right or wrong for you. Because if you watch through this whole video and you still think, no, I still want this bag, perfect. Then it's the bag for you. But then if you're already on the fence and, I don't know, maybe I'll make a couple of points that are good. So for this first bag, even though a lot of brands make this kind of move, I'm just gonna focus specifically on this bag, just because I could talk forever, like literally forever. I mean, you guys know that. So the first bag I wanted to talk about is from Givenchy, and it's the Tote shopping bag in white canvas. So, like I said, it is a white canvas bag, regular rectangle with black leather handles, and there's actually some like black leather feet on the bottom of it to like lift it off the ground, which I think is, actually I would say that is a nice touch. But this is kind of like a shout out, like, I just don't understand why, like, brands have jumped on the whole, like, train of, like, oh, let's make a bag that just looks like one of our shopping bags, and, like, half the time, it doesn't even look like an actual shopping bag from that brand, it's just this white bag with black handles. But it's meant to be, like, this, like, not trompe l'oeil, but, like, oh, it's an item that's meant to be disposable, but when we made it into something more permanent by making it into an actual bag, like, I do not care. Especially because a lot of these brands don't have that kind of background where they make these, like, objects that are informed by, like, real-life objects. There's two brands that I think did it okay enough that it made sense. 2.5, 3, let's say 3. Moschino has done this, but they love camp. They have that sense of humor. The other brand that has done this is Balenciaga, which, again, that kind of makes sense because they like doing a similar thing, but maybe in a less campy way. And then, actually, Chanel is a brand that has done this, but I think it was actually back when Karl Lagerfeld was still alive, and he did camp very well, and he did these, like, transformed objects from, like, normal life into, I don't know, like, a luxury accessory, bag, whatever you name it. And I think that's okay, but, like, when I see a brand like Givenchy, who, when I think of Givenchy, I think of very, like, sharp, crisp, purposeful design with almost, like, a bit of edge, and this is just, like, you can tell it's, like, one of those moves that they made to just be, like, super commercial and really, like, oh yeah, let's just put something out there so that if someone likes our brand and they want that kind of design, they'll get it. But I'm just like, it doesn't even fit the energy of the brand for me, but... Alright, so this next bag I want to talk about is from Bottega Veneta. I know, Bottega Veneta, they've really been killing it with the bags recently, but the one I specifically want to talk about is the Intrecciato mini bag on chain. I don't know, and maybe it has to do with, like, the context of what brands I'm talking about, but, like, it's kind of what I just talked about, how Bottega Veneta has been doing really exciting things with shapes and forms and reworking house codes. And I don't know, I'm doing this because I'm dying.
Bitch, she died.
I'm literally dying because of this, because it's basically a wallet on chain with the Intrecciato. And I understand, like, you always need some basic pieces, but, like, the fact that, like, it literally looks like you could get this bag from, like, Target or something like that. It's not, like, a neutral where it's like, okay, they wanted something more classic and they wanted it to be, like, maybe for someone who's not the new target audience for that brand, but it is in their parakeet green with a gold chain, and it's like this tiny little thing, and I'm just like, I don't quite get why they decided to do something very, like, classic, traditional feeling in their, like, signature, like, the parakeet green. I mean, I guess I kind of get it if it's, like, meant to be kind of like an entry-level bag for someone who loves Bottega Veneta, they love the parakeet color and they know like that color is like very recognizable. But because it's only the color, and of course like their Intrecciato, which I think I learned something. I think Intrecciato is when it's the woven thing but at a diagonal, and then the Intreccio is just when it's like straight up and down and side to side. I don't know. Anyway, but then when like the main thing from like kind of like the new house coats in a way, where like it's not like the Intrecciato is like a huge scale or done with the plissé, like the gathered leather or anything like that. It's literally just something that I think you could find at Bottega Veneta like 10 years ago, but just in parakeet green. For me, I don't get it. If you want something new, they have some bags at a price level similar to this bag where you can get a little bit more of that kind of shaken up brand essence. Or if you want something super traditional, get something super traditional. I don't know. It's this kind of like in the middle, like they're not here nor there, so it kind of just falls flat for me. So I don't know why I did that. Alright, so this next bag is from Balenciaga, and it's the it's the signature large east-west, nope, I'm just gonna read it. It's the signature large east-west shopping bag BB monogram coated canvas in beige. Signature large east-west shopping bag BB monogram coated canvas in beige. I actually cannot stand this bag. I think this is the worst piece of junk that this brand has put out. And like, I'm not one of those people who like says that typically. I mean, okay, it's ugly. I mean, it was ugly then. Okay, maybe I say it sometimes. Balenciaga, at least for the past however many, it has been like 8 years or something since Demna took the reins as creative director, and he's really been like changing the game with the way he thinks about how luxury fashion is meant to be perceived and consumed as well, and maybe not such a good way with the consumer side, but maybe that's more business side, commerciality, whatever, blah blah. But for them to create this tired monogram and do it in the same kind of like brown, so I'm realizing watching this back, I didn't use the correct wording when I was trying to make this point. I fully understand that like the monogram from Balenciaga isn't new, but it still was introduced in like the 90s, which for me like, oh my god, wait, hold on, wait, that's 30 years. But still, wait, does my point still stand? I don't know. 30 years for me, like if something's from the 90s, I don't really view it as like archival or anything that has like a lot of like history to it necessarily. I think maybe if you give it another 30 years, then sure, we can say that, but right now it's just kind of like a retro? Is that retro? Oh god, okay. And honestly, I remember seeing like Balenciaga bags with this monogram back in like the 90s or whenever, and like not being impressed. They were like in department stores, just like on shelves and looking plain. I think it was a time when maybe Balenciaga didn't have the same kind of staying power that it does now, or at least like the interest or the hype or whatever. So maybe this is a more personal note for me, but like this monogram, I don't know, it doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, they can call it the BB monogram, like the GG Supreme. It's like a very similar color, maybe a little bit more warm. I don't know, it just feels like a less purposeful copy of these brands that have these recognizable monograms. Like, just a quick segue, when Loewe introduced their updated monogram, I think they had a monogram that was like the old Loewe L, which had a little bit more swooshiness to it, but then the new one feels a lot more square. And that's what made kind of like the anagram, which became their monogram. And that was kind of difficult for me to like take on, because I was like, why are you doing this like monogram thing? But then at least it kind of makes sense. It's the updated logo, and they did it in kind of a geometric way. But then for this, it's literally just like BBs and then like done at an angle. It just feels like it's copying like both Gucci and Louis Vuitton, but it's less interesting. I want to say that like at least like the silhouette is redeeming, but it literally just like, again, a tote bag you could get from Target. Like, if you're gonna spend this much money on a bag, get it from a brand that has, I don't want to say like a more recognizable monogram, because that's not what I'm about, but at least like these monograms, they have history and they have reasoning behind it. The GG from Gucci, it's the son making the monogram after his dad passed away, and that's why it's Gucci oh Gucci, it's the GG. Louis Vuitton is a similar situation where the son made the LV monogram because his dad passed away. Like, there's like reasons for this, but this kind of just feels like, oh, let's just throw a couple of B's, even though there's only one B in Balenciaga. There's only one B in Balenciaga, so like, why is it like, I don't know. I almost feel like if they had just done like a really blocky V, like the one from the Hourglass, and just did that as the monogram, that at least would make more sense. Now it's just like a little like weird butterfly. I don't know. Maybe I'm like getting a little too heated about this one specifically, but like if you compare this bag to any of the other bags from Balenciaga, I would not place them from the same place. It's like you have Gucci and then Guess, and then you have Balenciaga and Best. Like that's what it seems like. It's very like down market, doing something to like make some easy money. I do not like this at all. So this next bag is from Louis Vuitton, and it's the utility crossbody bag. Of course, it was actually more than a few years ago at this point, I think, right? Where we had the multi-pochette, where it's like all of these like little pockets, and there's a little zipper thing on the shoulder strap, and blah, and you have all these little parts and pieces, and you can combine it. For me, it's not my favorite because it is still like a very simple shape, but the fact that there is this kind of like interactivity to the bag, in a way-ish. But when you do something good and then you try to like replicate the same energy, oftentimes it doesn't look so great. The way that they designed this bag, it almost looks like a knockoff of Prada. I don't know if you guys see that, but like when you see like the body of the bag, you see like the attached pockets, it feels more utilitarian than like the multi-pochette. The multi-pochette, sure, it had like a lot of bits and bobs and like pockets, pouches and whatever, but like this being just like one monolithic like compartment, like one bag, and then the strap with like the little thing on it, but then like, oh, there's reasons to add zippers. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, maybe I need to make a video about this, but I feel like there's been a huge trend where it's like the luxury brands are just kind of copying each other right now. Specifically like the large fashion houses like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Fendi, I don't know. It's getting to a point where like everything's kind of just blurring and looking the same. And when you can easily make comparisons between these different brands, it's almost like, I don't know, there's no life, there's no soul behind it. It's just like, I understand like all of this is to make money anyways, like it is like consumerism and capitalism at its worst, and I understand like it's not surprising at all, but like the fact that like, I don't know, I feel like fashion is dying or something, like it's, and I'm not talking about like actual fashion, but like these like big houses, like at least there used to be like more innovation and more like excitement, but like right now, like this is killing me, guys. Like I don't know, I don't see it, I don't see the vision. Alright, we're winding down, we only have a couple left. So this one's from Dior, and it's the medium essential tote bag. What I do not understand about this bag is Dior, you already have a fantastic, even though I complained about it in my last video, worst bags, I'll link it on the corner. Like you already have like a really beautiful tote bag. Why would you make one that does not make, it doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, they have another, I mean it's a different kind of tote bag, but like you have the Lady Dior as well. Like you have these tote bags that are really beautiful, they have history, they have craftsmanship, and then you decide to put out something called the Essentials tote bag, and it's like, it's not essential to me. When they say like, it's pared down to the essentials, I'm like, okay, get a tote bag from somewhere else then. I don't know. It's literally just this rectangle with the super blown up, they call it the arca canage, like it's the canage like typical stitching, but like blown up huge. But then for me, you have this huge bag with this huge scale of like the sizing of the canage, and then you have just like some gold hardware and straps and whatever. But like, I don't know, you guys. But you have the scale of the bag that's that big, and then you bump up the scale of any sort of texture or detail. You're just creating something that's so flat, and it becomes like, it's kind of like the same thing, but the opposite is logo mania. Like when you wear so many logos, it kind of just becomes a texture. That's kind of like about overloading the senses, right? But then here, because they blew it up so much, it's like you're zooming in on the like monogram, logo, texture, whatever you want to call it, so much that it almost loses its meaning and it just becomes like a texture, but in a way that I think is actually kind of boring. Like logo mania isn't my favorite thing necessarily, but like doing it like this like feels so lazy. I don't know, I just looked at another picture. It basically just looks like the book tote, but then instead of having the attached handles, they just added some hardware. I don't know, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not for me. I don't know. Okay, I'm almost done. So this last bag I wanted to talk about is from Jacquemus, and it's called Le Carpintero. Le Carpintero? Or no, Le Carpintero. I will say like Jacquemus isn't one of my favorite brands to want, but I really admire what he does in general. I think he's really helped change the fashion landscape and inject a little bit more like freedom, flirtiness, and make things a little bit more lighter when at a time I think fashion started getting like a little serious in a way. But like at this point I'm like, I think you're getting a little too loose and free. Like this is crazy. It is a canvas bag for like $500, $600. A canvas bag. I don't know, I feel like I could find this at a thrift store, which like, if you find something like this at a thrift store, it's great. I actually have no problems with the shape of this bag. I actually really like the shape of this bag. It's very like lazy, like in a good way, like very like carefree, like something simple to throw on, and it has that very like relaxed look, but like you are paying $600 for basically an unstructured, just like few sheets of canvas. There's no hardware really, because the way that it like comes together, it's even just a tie knot at the top, which I guess is how it's adjustable, which is kind of fun. But like, I don't know, am I gonna eat my words later? If you guys know anyone who's styled this bag really nicely, let me know and maybe I'll like make an apology video. But like, right, just where I'm like sitting right now, I'm like, this bag is, I don't want to call it hideous because I do think that's a step too far, because the way you style anything, it could always work. If it's one of the ugliest bags you've ever seen, on the right person wearing the right outfit, I think it could look amazing and make it very desirable. But maybe it's just the way that they're like showing it. It looks very like slouchy. I don't know, I feel like one of my exes from college who like now lives on a commune or something would like love this bag if it wasn't Jacquemus, and he just like found it on the side of the road because it looks like a bag you could find on the side of the road. Actually, I saw a TikTok the other day that was like how to carry a tote bag in a masculine way so people don't think you're gay, and it was like the person put it on a stick and like tied the straps to make it like one of those little sacks that you see like in cartoons when people are like leaving or like they're transient or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, is that what you're supposed to do? Because it has the two ties on the top and you tie it on a stick and then you have like your little bag on a stick. I don't know. In any case, I still think it's really dumb that this bag is like so much. And I know like I'm not the one to throw the first stone when it comes to like stupid bags for an overpriced amount of money. Like this is a freaking IKEA bag that's like, I don't know, it came out and it was like $2,000 or something like that. And I was like, I need it. Or the Jill Sander paper bag that was like, it was paper, but it was $200. I know, it's very stupid, but like, I don't know, it's just like, it's like this floppy canvas sack that I feel like you could pick up from like a farmer's market or something. I don't know. Oh my god, people are coming to get me. They heard my opinions and now they're gonna get me. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Alright, so let me know if you agree with me on these bags, or if you hate me and you think I'm really stupid and that you want me to D-word, like let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. But that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about design behind design luxury. Okay, bye.